Who's that guy in that old shirt? Who must be the fence expert? Who's that guy in that old shirt? Who must be the fence expert? It's almost time to talk about the fences. It's time to discuss operations and expenses. It's time, it's really time to elevate small businesses. It's time for Joe to drop his knowledge. It's relentless. This rhyme of mine is getting a bit ridiculous. So here we go. We're live with Joe. Enjoy the show.
What is up, Fence fam? So good to be back with you guys, virtually, as it were. We've been off for a few weeks. We've had niece's high school graduation. We had Memorial Day weekend. Hope everyone had a great time. But alas, here we are, and it's great to be back with you guys again. Before we get into today's show, which is going to be a killer show, by the way, you don't want to leave. I know when I'm watching these, sometimes like I'll leave and then I'll come back and I'll leave and come back. I'm just going to, let's not do that. All right, just, you'll want to stick around. I don't want to give away, but we're going to talk about some stuff here. All right, but before we get into it, because I know once we get into it, well, this hour is going to fly by. It's probably going to be more than an hour if I'm going to guess, but it's going to fly. So first and foremost, we've got to thank Expert Professional Wood Care. Caleb, Ashley, the whole team has always been so great to us. If you guys are into staining or if you're interested in getting into staining, wood care, you've got to reach out to the team. They'll treat you really well. They'll take care of you like family. They are a sponsor of the show. Thank you for sponsoring the live broadcast. Each and every Saturday we go live. Before they were a sponsor, we were a vendor, or they were a vendor of ours. We were a customer of theirs. They take great care of us. They are a sponsor because we love them so much in our company. We thought you would like them as well. Caleb, Ashley, and the team, again, from me, thank you. For my team, thank you as well. Like I said, guys, if you're interested in all, you should definitely check them out. I don't know. I was going to say there might be nicer people in the world. I don't know that. I've met a lot of nice people. We're getting ready to talk to one, but I don't know. It's going to be hard to find someone nicer than Caleb, Ashley, and team. Anyway, guys, check them out. Also, as you see scrolling across the bottom, West Coast Fence Show is open. The registration is open. You're free to sign up. I don't know. Open for signups. We were talking to Luke Bailey a few weeks ago. They're expanding the show floor, another 10,000 square feet of vendors who would love to meet you and that I think you would love to meet and interact with. Find some new products. I know when we were at Fence Tech this last year, we met 2 or 3 new vendors, new to us vendors. They're actually established in the industry for a while. I just never met them personally. So sign up for West Coast Fence Show. It's coming up September 5th through the 7th. I'm going to be there. It's in Reno. Of course, Dan Wheeler's going to be there as well. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be there, but I would certainly like to meet you guys there. Let me know in the comments below. Are you going? Have you already registered? They've got a block of rooms for a discounted rate, so you'll want to register early to take advantage of that. Now, I know this goes against the grain of everything fence folks are known for, to register for anything early. And I'm speaking for myself personally. Right now, I'm making plans for something I'm going to do next week. So for me, thinking months into the future, it might as well not exist. But I know it goes against the grain. Check them out. Get registered now. Save yourself some money on the hotel. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be in Reno, Nevada. Never been. Heard it's great. I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. Our guest today. How do you introduce this guy? I feel like everybody probably already knows him. So, man, Matt and I, I can't even remember. It feels like I've known him forever. I'm trying to remember when we actually met. It was through an AFA event, I'm sure. I don't know. We've known each other forever. You guys, if you're in the fencing industry, you know Matt. You know Matt Warner. He's known for, obviously, company culture. We got to talk to him, though, because he's always climbing on things. He's climbing on chairs. He's climbing on tables. I saw a table almost collapse one time just because, the legs weren't super sturdy. We got to make sure we take care of this guy. Anyway, great for company culture. I'm watching the preview screen right now. Let's just bring him up. The one, the only, Matt Warner.
That's my intro.
Oh, Matt, how are you, buddy?
You had one of these, so I thought I'd get mine out. Play a little jam here on the table.
Yeah, a little jam session. I love it. I love it.
I'll put that in the background because it looks cool.
I love that so much.
So I'm out here in my new office. Check this out. I have this duck in my new office.
Yeah?
I love wood ducks. Got this at a garage sale.
Oh.
Isn't it cool?
Garage sale find. I love it. I love it.
The neck is a little tweaked. Oh. I don't know which way it's supposed to go.
It could go either way.
Yeah, it was like $2. I'm like, somebody spent like $100 to get this thing done. So
absolutely.
Every once in a while, I just bring it out. So I'm going to put that back here.
All right.
I got my bear. Check out my bear.
I see that.
I went hunting with the Seegers. Bobby and Ben and John and all the Seegers out there took me on a hunt out there, out in Hyde County, North Carolina. Wonderful time. Holy cow, look at this red sunlight coming in here. You have not seen this new office.
No. I was going to say, I've got office envy. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I liked your old office, to be honest with you.
That is now Jamie's office.
Okay, I like Jamie's office.
Have you been following what I've done? So about a year ago, I had a good friend of mine, Mark Olson from Job Nimbus, tall Mark, not short Mark. Love them both, but tall Mark.
Yeah.
He came out and he said, Matt, he goes, you're running your business like you were 5 years ago. You have to run your business where you're going in the next 5 years.
No.
That's what's stressing you out. That's what's making you have to try to solve all the riddles.
Yeah.
Stop solving the riddles and let your people solve the riddles. It was one of it literally, we sat right out there on that deck right there.
Yeah.
And I just said, see that chessboard? I got a chessboard out there.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I've been getting into chess too.
I know. If anybody follows you, they know
I am
chess is
0-16. My friend Steve Bennett out on the West Coast, we play on this app. He kicks the crap out of me all the time. But that's another thing about business. Let me get back to my office. So
Yeah.
I was talking to Mark Olson, and he said, Matt, he goes, you have to run it like you're going. So I said, that's it. We're going to strip the foundation out from underneath this thing. We're going to build a bigger, wider, stronger foundation so we don't settle. And then we're going to put the new business structure on top of this foundation. And so I appointed Jamie, Scott, Luke, Max, and Sean all to an officer team.
Okay.
I gave them all a very, very important role in the company. And I said, each one of them, here's your jobs. Like Luke, his whole entire job is guardian of culture. You know how passionate I am about culture. I want to make sure that our people know that they have somebody to go to all the time. Now, you can't do that when you're a smaller company, but we've gotten big enough that we have to do it in order for us to embrace everybody.
Yeah.
I used to be the guardian of culture. And a lot of times when you're first getting started in business, you have to wear all the hats.
Of course.
And it will wear you out. And everybody's like, oh, you got to work on your business, not in your business. Pahui. You've got to work on it, in it, around it, over it, under it. You got to wear all the hats.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. The analogy you were giving me this morning of the rocket ship taking off. It takes a lot of fuel to get that rocket ship off the ground.
Yeah, something like 90% of the energy just to get out of the atmosphere.
Right.
And 10% to get to the moon, back, and land.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And that's
Nuts.
That's business startup. And I've been there, folks. So I started this in 2009. We did not grow until 2015. We were stagnant. From 2015 to 2018, we doubled. But from 2018 till 2024, well, you know, it's really gone crazy.
Yeah.
We're over in 2018. We had about 20 people. Now we have 112. I can't remember. We had 4 people start on Monday. I think we have 3 people starting next Monday, and we have people coming in all the time applying. So I built a new structure for this thing, and I handed things off, and then I decided that I'm going to be the wolf in the back of the pack. I'm going to try to stay in the back. I'm going to let those guys do it. And we meet on the final Friday. I copied that from you, by the way. We bring in the officer team.
Yeah.
Melanie and Sarah also come in on that meeting because there's 3 key components to business: money, finances, and then vision. So Melanie is the HR, Sarah is accounting, and then I'm the vision. So those 3 key things. And then we talk about that to our officer team, and our officer team then takes that out to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So it's important that you know your role, that when you're a smaller startup company, you do have to wear a lot of hats and you have to work really hard. And the balance of business is this, folks. You're going to almost fall off to the left. Oh, that's to the right, the left.
That's
left.
Right. Yeah, here, it's my
That's
left.
your left. And sometimes you're going to almost fall off the balance beam.
Yeah.
And doggone it, sometimes you're going to fall off the balance beam. And sometimes you're going to get hurt. And sometimes you're going to have to get maybe some therapy. Sometimes maybe you're going to have to reach out to a friend. Sometimes you're going to have to make a really tough decision. You're going to fall off. The important part is get back on that balance beam.
Yeah. Get
back on it. There is no perfect balance. You're going to go all the way this way, and then you're going to go all the way this way. You're going to miss your family events sometimes. And then sometimes you're going to make a sacrifice for your company, and you're going to go make a family event. You have to decide which ones you're going to do, and then you have to chase those dreams to try to get where you're going. At least, by the way, that's my perspective.
Yeah.
So, and I struggled with it early on, and everybody's like, "Oh, you have to put your family first." Well, you do.
Yeah.
In my world, I go God, family, work. But in order to glorify God, I have to take care of my family and work really hard. So they all three of those things go hand in hand. Not to get all religious on you, Joe,
Sure.
but
No.
that's how I roll.
Yeah.
You know that. But
Well,
hey, and by the way, don't ever say I'm as nice as Caleb Roth, because he is one of the nicest dang humans you'll ever meet. Don't put me in that category.
Well, but you're pretty all right yourself. You're pretty all right yourself.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay, yeah.
Reputation.
We'll keep that between us.
Okay, sorry. We just wasted how many minutes?
It's going to take us about 2 hours to unpack that about 5 or 6 minute rant we went on there. It wasn't a rant, but oh man, where do you start with that? So, guys, we've got a whole show planned, but before we do that, let's talk about how hard. Let's talk about and I want to talk about this because what we're going through this, right? How hard is it to take that cap off and hand it to somebody else?
Oh, Joe.
And not want to like gradually take it back. You're like, oh, here. Let me help you with something real quick.
Yeah. You just gave me goosebumps because we're going through this thing right now. And I just talked to Jamie this morning and I said, Jamie, I'm not going to get involved, man. I'm sorry. You have to handle this one. And it's tough. Yeah. But in order for him to grow, he has to learn how to fail quickly and then recover quickly. Yep. Fail, first attempt in learning. We've said that 1,000. You've heard me say that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
FAIL. It really does ring true. And it's I heard a lot of people say it's not it's not when you get knocked down, it's how you get back up.
Sure.
And I always say when you get punched in the face, I always say try to land on your face so you can push yourself right back up and hop up and get going again.
There you go.
But he has to learn how to handle some of these things that I did for years. And he even said to me, he goes, you just have a better way of stepping into it and being blunt and not offensive. And I said, Jay, that's a learned trait. I had to learn how to do that because early on in my business career of working for other companies, I was told in evaluations that I was abrasive. I had to have my boss, my leader, my coach tell me things that I didn't want to hear in order to get better at being blunt but not abrasive. John Wooden said, a great coach can give criticism without resentment. And that's the key, folks, is to how do you talk to your people with a loving, nurturing manner that will strip them down, but the same instant build them back up. I read a text message I got from one of our guys to you.
Yeah.
I might even get emotional because it choked me up last night when I got it. But it talked about how another company we're working for recognized our culture and what we're doing. And the young man that sent it to me, him and I've had some great conversations about how do you conduct yourself? How do you handle yourself out in the field? We've done this. So with great culture and with this learning how to take off your hat and give it to Jamie or Scott or Luke or Sean or Max and say, hey guys, it's your turn to wear this hat.
Yeah.
It's tough because we just want, I know how to do it.
Yep.
And now they have, in order for me to get out of the way, they have to learn how to do it.
It's so hard. But as you're growing, you have to, right? Because if you wear all the hats, you can certainly try, right? But now all of a sudden you are the bottleneck.
Right.
Right. You are what's holding your company back because you're wearing all these hats and there's only one you. We always joke about that. We're like, man, if we could only clone like 4 or 5 of us, like 100 times, we'd take over the world. And we say that jokingly, but it's funny because it's true, right? So it's like, well, okay, so that tells me we need to get better at training others and at bringing, because we can, to some extent, clone ourselves, right? To say, hey, here's how I'd handle that, or here's how I would have done that, and who knows, you might find somebody that does it better.
And that's why I believe in our Monday morning meeting is that's my opportunity to give our people my one-liners, I stole this from Jim Rohn. And by the way, Jim told me on a podcast, well, he's been dead for a while, but he told me, feel free to steal anything I say because I probably stole it from somebody else. So but I heard Jim Rohn say, Show me your five closest friends that you hang out and you spend the most time, and I'll predict your checking account and your savings account. And it's true. And it really, birds of a feather flock together. And the people that say, oh, no, they don't influence me. Oh, no, I influence them. I'm the stronger one in this relationship. Well, I hate to tell you, but if it's 5 against 1, they're probably going to pull you down.
Yeah.
So
whether you realize it or not, I think that's the thing. That's probably real to them. That's their reality, that they're independent, that, it's not having an effect on them or anything like that. But just below the surface, there probably is some of that going on.
Yeah, absolutely. What else, Joe?
Man, where else?
Do we have anybody tuning in today?
Yeah, let's say hi to a few folks. Let's get this wire out of here. This is bugging me. Okay, there we go. I'm a fence guy that tries to do technology stuff. We're learning here. We're learning. Okay. We know this guy, Justin. This is going to be a banger of a show. Hey, listen, that's the Dan Wheeler thing. We're gonna leave these things to give the, I don't know, let them have. It's gonna be a great show.
Hey, by the way, Justin's in Omaha, and he did a great job. So we were a distributor for Stain for Caleb, and then I quickly realized that I am not near as good at selling or promoting Stain as Justin. So I just you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. So we did a deal with Justin and pushed it over there. But now he comes and stains our fences for us. It's funny, my team likes him so much. And then my team heard that we bought Gopher Wood.
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa, are we going to make Justin mad? We don't want to lose Justin. We got it. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm sure Justin has plenty of fences to stain. And we want to have a pre-stain system, but we also want to, I'm going to the idea that I want every single wood fence that we sell stained.
Yep.
Matter of fact, my goal is by next year that there is not an Empire Fence sign on a new fence that isn't stained in some fashion with Stain and Seal Expert Stain. Little plug for them.
I love it. No, absolutely. We had Caleb on, it's been a little while ago, talking about Gopher Wood. And chestnut, so it's their tone chestnut, which we loved. Chestnut's a nice medium brown. I love it a lot. So when he had said, we're going with chestnut, love that. Fully immersed. We could go into a whole talk here, but Gopher Wood, I think it's a great product. And I think it's a win-win for you, right? The customers win because they're getting great value for their money, and a fence that's not going to look gray after a period of time, right? And it's actually is going to preserve the wood longer. You guys win because your sign gets to be on a fence that looks really nice for a really long time.
That's just what I was going to say. I'm tired of these crappy look. You build a brand new fence and you drive by it and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. 6 months later, you're like, oh, wow, that fence still looks pretty good. 6 months after that, you're like, oof, man, I wish they would have stained that fence. So what we're going to do is require all fence to be either sealed or treated or stained, just because we want to have that reputation of being a high caliber fence and a product. By the way, the price point on that Gopher Wood,
it's pretty good.
Amazing.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
But I think we just got our first truckload in and are coming. Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have any idea.
I think it's in.
Hear rumors.
So I follow Empire social accounts, and I think it's in. I saw a post about it a little while ago, maybe this past week. So
you know what? Maybe I should follow Empire social.
Stay up to date. So talking about signs on fences that maybe don't look great. There's someone in our market. They did it a while ago. I don't know if they're still doing it. I haven't seen. So they have two versions of their sign. They have one that says, brand A fence company. I don't call it brand X anymore because I think that sounds really bad. Brand A fence company, right? Or no, it would be brand. I don't want to go too far into details, but so brand A fence company. Then they have another sign, looks completely different, that says, brand B fence company, but it's a version of their name. So they put their flagship brand on all of the cedar fence and all of the really nice fence they do. And they put this other sign on the treated pine privacy that they do. Because they know this fence is probably not going to look great a year down the road. So we're going to put
Right.
this other sign on it so that people don't associate our flagship brand with
Wow.
this fence.
Wow.
Like, oh man. So you're acknowledging that
That
this thing
sounded
is
good.
not going to be good, but
Yeah.
anyway, just, it's interesting how
It's-
different people take different paths, sort of thing. Oh, let's see we're on the first person so far. Justin goes on to say, Matt is so inspirational with his personal stories and implementation of those experiences into business. Joe is a leader who leads from the front and mentor to so many, two of my favorite Fave 5 mentors.
That's awesome.
Justin,
Thank you,
what a
Justin.
good guy. Talking about good people again.
Great human.
Also know this gentleman. Front Rock Fences, what's up, Matt? And good morning, Joe and Matt. Stoked to hear about Unhinged podcast. Matt, you're a nice guy. There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
So Front Rock Fences is also my salesman customer, and I believe, you know what? I'm not going to say. I think we just got them on the 2.0. And by the way, anybody,
Nice.
I know we're going to probably talk about, but just a real quick
Yeah.
plug about 2.0. There's a lot behind 2.0. There's a lot of information that we're going to help you gather for your marketing. I call it strategic marketing plan,
Sure.
because I think that a lot of times, my goodness, I'm so sorry. We're going to digress, and this is going to be.
No, it's
I don't
okay.
know. Maybe, okay. Stop me if I have to, because I
Okay.
get so jacked up.
I'll give you the timeout. I'll give
Okay.
you the timeout. Okay.
But I think here's something that a mistake that I did for years is I didn't know where to spend my marketing money or what to spend it on, and you can't really measure your ROI on brand awareness. You know your brand. As my dream is that when anybody sees the E with the crown on top of it with the 3 points, they know that that's Empire's Fence Company. I literally have hats made with just that E on it, so people recognize that. I have a race car, Joey Danley. I had him put that E on the top for a very, very important reason, because I want people to recognize that E and say, what is that? Well, I'm going to help you gather information of what you're selling and what you're doing really good at and where your leads are. But then also, I'm going to gather some information in your area, and we're going to learn. We're going to learn in how to do this together. We're going to learn how to share what is selling in your area with your other friends in the industry. So Joe, I'm going to try to. I don't want to say too much.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to say, Joe, from Springfield to Bolivar to some of your surrounding towns. This is what's hot for you right now. This is where you might want to spend your marketing money,
Sure.
because your client is seeing a lot of these fences out there, so they're clicking on this a lot in your catalog. So I'm hoping to give you some idea on how to spend your strategic marketing dollars.
Yeah. When we were at Fence Tech Nashville, Rachel was showing me she's like, hey, here's 2.0 and here's some stuff. And I was like, this is amazing. We have to let everybody know. She's like, nope, not yet.
Oh my goodness. And then I let the cat out of the bag like 3 times. And then we had some software glitching. So right now, when we code software, you code it in clusters. And this is the brand new coding. And this is why we're having a hard time talking to some of the older coded softwares out there. So anybody that wants us to talk to other softwares, we can, but if they're not up to speed to where we're at, then we can't go back and do that, because it's not cost effective.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you're doing this in these clusters, because these clusters are plugins on the code and they talk to each other. Well, I didn't know that this was going to be a big problem. So we got delayed almost 14 months.
Oh.
And it was painful for me, because if you know anything about me, I'm a let's go. Let's get things done. Let's build it kind of guy. But anyhow, 2.0 is coming. Thank you so much, Front Rock Fences, for being my salesman customer. I appreciate you guys.
I love it. And we're gonna talk about 2.0. That's on our list. So
And by the way, Unhinged, it's not a podcast. It's even better.
That's right. Let's say hello to a few people, but hey, let's do this, Matt. Okay. While we're saying hello to people, what if everyone guessed in the comments what is Unhinged?
Okay, that'd be good.
What is Unhinged? So far we know that Matt and I are involved in it somehow.
Yes.
Right. And I think we've put that out there.
Before the show's over, we are going to let the cat out of the bag. That was my version of a cat, by the way.
Complete with sound effects, folks. Complete with sound effects. All right, let's see where we're front rock. Oh yeah, so Roger Bittencourt, what's up, Roger? Stellar guest and audience thus far. Hello, Joe, Matt, and the rest of the Fence fam. Hello, Roger. Appreciate you tuning in. Kevin, I think we've tried the last name before, and I'm hoping it's Schombert. What do you think, Matt?
I think it's Schombert.
Schombert. I'm so close. Sorry, Kevin. Apologies in advance. Well, it's not in advance anymore. Apologies after the fact of how, if that's not. But hello from Dallas, Texas. Hello, Kevin. How to make an easy fence DIY jig? Well, Kevin, what type of what stage of the fence are we trying to make a jig for? We've made a bunch. We've messed up a bunch, so I've got a few ideas for you. But is it setting a post? Is it the stringers? Is it the pickets? If we're talking about a wood fence, maybe we're not even talking about a wood fence. What kind of fence are we talking about? What stage of the fencing process are we talking about? We'll go from there.
One time we were doing a fence. It's called an impasse fence by Ameristar.
Yeah.
And you have to get the posts very, very accurate. And the posts weigh about 350 pounds, and you have to suspend them. And we made a fence jig on that, and actually we were pointing a 3-foot wide mow curb. So we not only did we make a jig, we took a board and then a notch out, so every post went into the right spot. But then we also tried to make sure that it was spaced perfectly. So we made a racking jig because we were going up a hill. And if you know anything about the impasse system, it doesn't like to rack very well.
Yep.
And now I want to brag on my team a little bit. Taryn Kosmicki and the gang the other day broke a company record. They dug and set 103 of those impasse posts in one day.
In a day.
With, I think, a 4-man crew. You know what, Taryn, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be exaggerating, but I'm pretty sure they broke the company record. And before that, the company record was like 77. And by the way,
which is also wildly impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, it's that repeatable processes. And you know what? That Sean King talks about that all the time. And I love what he talks about, that repeatable processes. But even when you do commercial work, folks, can we talk fencing for just a little bit?
Of course.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this a fence show?
We happen to talk about fences here. Yes, sir.
So whenever you're out there, and this is something to learn. We all buy the material about the same. So don't think that you're gonna skin a fat cat by buying material way cheaper than your competitors. You're just not gonna do it. I don't care who you are. We're not a large fence company, but we're a good sized fence company. We have good buying power. We don't buy it much cheaper than you do.
Yeah.
You pay your people about the same. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but we're all paying about the same. Where you win and lose is your efficiency in the field. How fast can you get your posts in the ground, get the product up, and get out of that job and get it built?
Yeah.
That's the key. And that's a lesson that I like to talk about. Matter of fact, that might be a teaser of what Unhinged is going to be about. Just a little bit of a teaser there. But so get this. So whenever we go to a job, we tell people all the time, the first week, we tell our contractors, the first week, we're probably not going to be very good. Even though we know what we're doing and we know the jigs and we know the repeatable process, give us that first week so we can get ourselves familiar with our environment and then get out of our way, because we're gonna roll. So anyhow,
I love it.
Repeatable processes is the key to success.
So I was listening to an interview, and I'm going to say this right up front. I don't follow basketball. There's a reference to basketball. If someone knows basketball, they know who I'm talking about. I don't know who I'm talking about. But it was a who was it? Simon Sinek was interviewing. It was like a Fortune 500 company CEO about how they went from $250 million to $2 billion in sales. He's like, how? Like, please, how do you do this? He goes, I interviewed this coach. I don't know who this coach is. It's a basketball coach. He goes, they had this big upcoming game. They were a huge underdog. They were just going to get slaughtered. He goes, what do you do? He goes, well, I'll tell you what. He goes, we're playing the game wrong. He said, we're looking at this the wrong way. He goes, how so? He goes, we're trying to win. He goes, well, yeah. He goes, no, that's wrong. We need to be looking at how to run each play to perfection. Each play, each drive, they're probably not called drives in basketball. I don't know. Each one to perfection, right? And then if we run each one to perfection, whether the scoreboard says we win or lose, we've won that game. If we can run them to perfection, they go into this game and they smoke them. I mean, they're supposed to be a massive underdog, and they just absolutely smoked this team. And because they ran plays to perfection. And so he relates it to business. He goes, we're not trying to make sales. Be great if we do. We need to perfect our processes. We need to run each play perfectly, whether it's customer service, whether it's sales, whether it's operations, whether it's whatever we need to figure out what are the plays that we run most often, and we need to perfect them. And if we run every play perfectly, regardless of the scoreboard, we've won.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
oh.
And I will tell you, so on Monday night, I'm going to do Monday with Matt, because every Monday, once a month, if you're a My Salesman customer, we spend an hour talking business strategies and culture, because that's what I'm most passionate about. But I will tell you something I had to learn is that when I was out in the field, we ran plays to perfection. We're really good at it. I had to learn how to say that's good enough. You go ahead and implement that play. You go ahead and run that play, because they'll get better. But if you never release them, if you're constantly waiting to release them to do something until it's perfect, you're never going to grow. So you have to release your team to start running the plays. The same thing.
Practice.
I saw the exact same video you're talking about.
Okay.
And that coach in another interview that they're talking about, he said, you have to let your team run plays, even if they get stopped. You have to let them start doing it so they can get better at it. And that's how you get to perfection by the end of the season. You want to be the best at the end of the year, not at the beginning of the season. So here's a nugget for you. I struggled growing from 2009 till 2015. And from 2015, I finally I started hanging out with some of the, I call them sleeping giants in the industry. And they taught me, stop trying to get all your crews to install as fast and as good as you do. Release them and let them learn and let them make some mistakes, because you'll never grow. If you're always looking for that perfect fence guy, if you're always looking for that perfect project manager, if you're always looking for that perfect estimator, if you're always looking for that perfect accountant, you're never going to grow until you bring them in and then make them better with you as you grow. So a lot of people that are growing out there, and I bet you Tony Thornton will back me on this 100%.
No,
they're trying to find the perfect person. Oh, I got to find a fence guy. And I'm telling people, I don't have anybody in the fence industry. Yeah. Half my team came from other industries, and we brought them in. And then, by the way, you can train people and help them, and they like the challenge. Anyhow, I'm sorry. I keep doing this to you, Joe. I'm so sorry.
Hey, as long as we're going good places, let's go. But I'll piggyback on that. We just went through another hiring round for team members in our shop and our e-commerce. And that's kind of one thing we talked about going into it. So it would be myself, and it would be the supervisor and then the team leader of wherever we're going to hire for. I told them, I was like, we're not looking for someone in this field, because we can train all this. Like, there's nothing we do here that's like just God-given ability, right? Like, we can teach how to pull orders, how to print packing slips, we can teach all that. We're looking for good people, right? That have an aptitude to learn. And then we're off to the races. We're bringing on a guy. He came from the solar installation field. He did that, but they were a bigger outfit that went over the road. He's like, I'm tired of traveling. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to start a family. I want to do this and that. Like, bingo. That's our guy. And in talking about it and asking questions, he loved learning. He loved figuring things out and like solving riddles, right? So it's like, wait a minute, we got a problem solver who wants to learn, and he's wanting to start a family. Bingo. Welcome to the team. When can you start? So
I love it.
I'll piggyback that. Don't go looking to fill that position. Look for people who can then be placed in a position.
Yep.
All right. We know this guy also, Robert Whitaker, Purple Coaching and Consulting.
And Robert has been joining me on my Mondays with Matt, and it's really fun to bounce ideas off him. So thank you, Robert, for doing that. I appreciate your friendship.
Talk about we're adding to the list of good people. Robert is good people. What's up from Magnolia Fence and Patio and Purple Coaching and Consulting? What is up? LM Gunslinger says, I have my own creed for DIY projects. Measure once, cut twice, and then call a professional to fix it. That's fair. that you've just described most all of my home DIY projects.
Yes.
Um,
Joe, I just ripped off all the vinyl siding off my garage
yeah.
and hired a professional to do it, because when I did it in 2016, when I was trying to save money, it was not pretty. And so
Well,
I hired a real siding professional to come in, and I just said, "You're way better at your trade than I am. Please fix this for me."
so I had a bit of a humbling experience lately. So the tub in our master bathroom had been dripping. Like, no matter how hard you cranked it, the tub just like drip, 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 drip. And I had been thinking, because I'm in there in the mornings, I know I'm hearing it drip. I'm like, I gotta fix that. I know I got a buddy that's a plumber. He'll help me fix it, or at least tell me how to, like, where do I even start with this, right? So I'm talking to him. We have lunch once a week at a group I'm in. Anyway, so I was talking to him. He goes, "Yep, you just need like a cartridge, and then it's a whole thing. It's not very hard." I'm like, okay. So I came home and it was fixed. I was like, that's weird. So I asked my wife, I was like, "Hey, that tub was dripping before." She's like, "Yeah, so we met a handyman service at our local HBA show." And listen to this mad genius. So what he was passing out was notepads with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a line. And you just write it. And he's like, when you get to like 4 or 5, call me and I'll hand me the list and I'll just knock them out for you.
I like that.
Yep. So she was making a list and she called him and he came and fixed it. And I was like, famous last words, I was going to fix that.
Yeah. I've said that 1,000 times.
She's like, well, but he fixed it once.
Yes.
He fixed it the first time. I was like, well, that's fair. I mean, and ultimately saved us money, because I would have gone and bought that cartridge. I would have bought the wrong one. There would have been 3 or 4 trips to Lowe's, and call the professional to fix it. I love it. Hello, Hot Fence. Woo! Let's go. A couple of my favorite humans. Listen, based on Matt's energy levels at most every time, and here's the thing, folks. So if you've only experienced Matt like on video or like at one of these shows, let me tell you, he is the same energy level in his private life. Like, when it's just, well, we had I came up there and I brought some wire, and you invited me for dinner, and let me tell you, the same Matt across the board. So I used to think that, like, maybe this is just like I don't know. Because, some people like put on extra, like, let's just go hard when we're trying to get a point across or we're trying to whatever. Nope. So based on that, I don't know that Matt's human. I don't know.
I do. I will tell you, I am getting more tired and my energy level has gone up. But I will tell you this. I have learned to enjoy just sitting back and watching my kids in my backyard.
Yeah.
Give me a cold beer and just let me relax, maybe smoke a cigar, and I am just perfectly fine sitting there. Last night, I just sat and watched as my kids were, and some neighbor kids, my son's friends came over, and they all sat and just visited. And I thought, you know what? It just doesn't get much better than this.
Right.
But hey, by the way, Brian, I have done some table dancing. By the way, I have claimed to be a Chippendale dancer. They never hired me, but I went ahead and took the claim at Chippendale dancing. I applied. I didn't make it past the cut, but I did try.
It's all right. And that's what counts. That's what counts. Dan Tuberville. Hey, everybody. Hello, Dan. How are you? Sherman, how are you, man? Hello from Boise. Sherman and I met each other. I still remember. We met each other at FinTech New Orleans, right outside a restaurant. So we talked for a few minutes, and I've talked with Sherman at every show since then. So, Sherman, it's good to see you. All right, now Josh is just bragging. I've seen that office. I like the duck and the guitar add-on. All right, I'm jealous.
I invited Josh out as a special guest for one of our Monday morning meetings, and he came out and shared his testimony, because I love to see other people passionate about whatever in life, and he is passionate about helping people south of the border, and so I invited him out, and he spent the weekend with me.
I love it. Again, adding to our list of good people.
Great guy.
World Genius Intelligence says, best budget steel fence post bang banger. I don't know if I've heard it described much better than that. Fence post bang banger. Uh, I don't have direct experience with this. U.S. Hammer. I hear U.S. Hammer get a ton of love, both from the initial sale, but then also a lot of the fence guys really brag on U.S. Hammer because, like, if they have a broken part, it gets shipped out overnight. I've no direct. I don't have any direct experience. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't know them. I just know what I hear people talk about. So you might check out U.S. Hammer. I'm gonna see if they can just incorporate that on their marketing.
Hey,
we are the best budget post bang banger.
If you do call US Hammer, tell them Matt and Joe sent you, not Dan Blanc.
Ask them for their post bang bangers. I think they will love that so much. I love that. I absolutely love that. Susan K. Worley, hey y'all. I actually heard it in her voice when she just said that. I heard in my head, hey y'all. Hello, Susan. MH Fence Co. Saturday morning with Joe and Matt. Let's go from Colorado.
Awesome.
Let's go. Speaking of good people, Jackson Fence Company. We like this, Matt. Casual and vocal. Up there with the Maxwells, the Robinsons, the Cynics. Don't stop, brother. I love it. I love it.
I like me some Cannon. Cannon and I are. I believe secretly I'm going to push him out of his comfort zone.
Okay, I love it. Chris Steele's Fence Fam. Hello, Chris Steele. How are you, sir?
Another great human.
We just got a whole list of people in the chat today. They're just good people.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Good. Here's the thing: is I bring on Matt, and a bunch of good people show up. What does that say? What does that
Stop
say?
it.
I'm not asking a question. I'm just curious. Jackson Fence Company says frank yet tactful is a whole other level. Yep. Absolutely agree. Purple Coaching and Consulting. Look at your disc skills. So this is when we were talking about handing hats off.
Yeah. Hey, and also, by the way, I didn't believe in this. And for all of you out there, and we don't use DISC, we use another behavioral analysis. And I want to go on record of saying I was 100% wrong 2 years ago when I wanted to cancel what we were doing. And Luke, our vice president of culture in our company, he fixed me and corrected me, and then Robert helped me understand too a little bit about this, and this is that outside coaching that you have to get, but understanding people's understanding their traits is important, and understanding what their skill sets. But I don't want to go into it too deep because it's definitely not my profession. But I will tell you, it is so incredibly important to really dive deep in and put the right people on the bus, in the seats of the bus, for success. But
I love it. Well, seats on the bus. So because of you, we got involved with HireBus, or not got involved with. We signed up for HireBus. HireClick. But then, okay, so maybe I got HireBus from someone else. So HireBus, it's a personality assessment that takes about 5 minutes, and it tells you what seat to put them in. So you said seats on the bus. That's what they're talking about is, anyway, you ought to be analyzing the personality of your people and putting people with like people, or understanding what those people are good at, right? Naturally.
Yeah. And by the way, the smaller companies, you can almost do it yourself a little bit, but once you start to grow past that 8 to 10 team members, you have to start using these other resources to try to help you understand your people. You just don't have time to, because you're the candle maker, you're the wick maker, you're the seller, you're the marketing agent, you're all these. You have to reach out and say, you know what, for a small fee, I can have somebody help me understand my people. So don't be afraid to spend a little bit of your money. And by the way, you should be budgeting that in your overhead and keep that below the line and put that in that cost, so you know it's sitting there ready to go.
Yeah, and it's just always built in.
Right.
So we toured, I was in a business owners group. We toured Dave Ramsey's facility. We went and talked to Chris Hogan, and then we toured the facility. Anyway, so he's got disc profiles of every team member in the company, whether it is on their door to their office or whether it's on a cubicle or whatever, because his point is, depending on people's personality, or they want to talk differently, right? So if you have somebody analytical and you go and you start talking about feelings, it's not going to land. right? Like they'll understand what you're saying, but it's not going to be impactful. But if you go to somebody analytical and you say, here's the numbers, here's my analysis, here's what I think, you're on the same page. And
Right.
you could be delivering the same message, right? So understanding people's personality also tells you how they receive information as well.
Right.
Robert, absolutely love it. This is why Purple Coaching and Consulting is all over. I say all over Facebook, but I'm seeing fence companies saying, had Robert out, did great stuff. And so I think this is one of the reasons.
And by the way, there's a lot of great coaches in our industry right now. So reach out to anyone. They're all good. I haven't seen a bad one yet. So they're all doing a great job.
Brian Fredrickson says, Matt is raw energy. Talking to Matt makes you want to go and push yourself harder. Couldn't agree more.
Thanks, Brian.
Justin says, my salesman tool is an amazing resource for me as a staining business owner and for customers looking to budget their projects. Highly recommend my salesman. Couldn't agree more.
So we are now full steam into staining fences and cleaning fences. We're also full steam into pressure washing. So pressure washing industry, and then we're now full steam in the roofing industry also.
Ooh, love that. Love that. Al Martin says, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Al.
Oh, Ryan. Wait a minute. Ryan, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Dude, I'm not Ryan. I'm sorry. I'm not on Facebook very often. I have a team that helps me with my Facebook account because I am too scatterbrained and I do a few Facebook lives.
Sure.
That's about it. So Ryan, I am so sorry. I like Ryan. Ryan, I'll get that done today. I promise. Sorry.
No problem. 420 Mr. Bubbles says, morning, currently doing a 6,000 foot, 8-foot, 9-gauge chain link project, I would assume.
Nice.
That's a big one. Love it. Christian Johnson's here. Hello, Christian.
Hi, Kristen.
Josh Hamby's tuning in from Lubbock, Texas. Uh-oh, Matt.
I know.
I'm here to make sure Matt Warner behaves himself.
Yeah. Well, so Brad and Rachel both called me this morning. They're like, guys, don't reveal too much on Hinge because it's not coming out until June 25th.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. That was one thing I was authorized to say.
Yes. They definitely said that we could talk about it.
By the way, I want to tell you all right now what we're doing because I think it's going to be really cool for the industry. But I have been told keep my mouth shut for a little bit longer, but
there's a plan.
Wait to give you just a little bit of a teaser of what's coming because I want you all to know that once again, I'm doing something that is brand new to the industry, just like my salesman was in 2012 when we launched.
So, and we are 53 minutes in and we are still promising we are going to talk about it. We will talk about it.
Okay.
Don't apologize. I'm here and I've got nothing planned. Listen, I know when I'm talking to Matt, I got nothing planned because I'm here for it.
56 minutes. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry.
No, please don't be. I think we've covered we've already had a whole great interview and we haven't even talked about the good stuff yet.
Yeah.
Mike Levy, what's up, Mike? Love watching Joe and his guest. Always sure to get a relatable tidbit. Mike, I love it. Thank you for tuning in. She's not wrong. He always lets the cat out of the bag.
I do. I'm not good with secrets. I just don't like them. I don't. Matter of fact, I've told everybody, listen, if somebody is expecting a baby, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell the whole world. I think it's great news and you should share it.
Yeah, because you'll be excited about it. And that's the thing. It's like, it's just because you're excited and everyone else will be excited about it also. You're like, oh, you'll love this piece of information.
So even my family now will whisper and I'm like, I don't want to know.
Yeah,
Don't tell me.
Yeah, let me know when I need to know. Like that.
I hate secrets. Hate them.
Christopher Brady, what's up, Chris? Good morning, Vince. Good morning, Vince fan. I'm sure he meant. Good morning, Chris. Evan Gardner. Hey, guys. Hey, Evan. Chris goes on to say, good morning, Vince fan from Southwest Missouri. Great topic. And two of the top guys in the biz discussing great topics. How else better to spend a dreary Saturday morning? He's not wrong. It's a little dreary here. A little cool and misty and just it's a great day to be inside today. Evan Gardner says, Wingman says, hey.
I like him.
Hello, Wingman. Nolan needs some fence installed. Okay, Nolan. Well, I don't know what market you're in, but Google fence companies and see which one of them have have a My Salesman tool installed on their page, and then you can get a budget for your fencing in your living room.
Well, and here's the other thing is it not only does it give you a budget, but it puts you in the queue for the fence company.
Yeah.
So they know that, and then it sends an email to the teams that says, hey, there's a $5,000 vinyl fence out here that I need help on, and it gets the team notified quicker. It's not just the budget tool. It's a kind of a getting you in queue and getting you ready to go.
And it arms them with more information. They'll have the layout. They'll have a satellite image of your home with the layout included, and you can start 4 or 5 steps ahead of where you'd normally be.
Hey, this next guy, I want to introduce this next guy.
Who? Are you sure? I don't know.
So I have something that I want to share.
Okay.
Ken, well, first of all, thank you for serving in the AFA. You've done a great job, and you are truly in it for the industry, and you have inspired me to a point. I think I'm going to jump on that board of directors. Now, that's a big move for me because I don't like the politics and stuff that goes on, and I don't like that. I don't like putting myself out there in that because I like our business. I love our company. I love our people. But I talked to Bobby Batchelor yesterday, and I said, hey, I'm going to throw my hat in the arena. If you need help on the board of directors at the AFA at the national level, I'm willing to sign up and commit some time. And that is scary for me. Everybody thinks that I'm this really confident, got everything figured out guy. I'm not. I'm a hot mess most of the time. And my people know it. And I think that's what they love about me. And I'm pretty vocal about saying, listen, I don't have things figured out. But Ken Throckmorton, you are the one that has inspired me to run on the board of directors. So there you have it. It's not official yet. And by the way, they might not even want me. They might be like, oh, that's a lot to take on, because when I do step in an arena, I will fight with the Lions and the Tigers and the Bears. And I will put my heart into it. And I don't like to half-ass it. Oh, sorry. I don't like to half do anything.
Well, and that bear in the background can attest to it.
Yes. Yeah. So, Ken,
so Ken, from the fencing community, thank you for getting Matt involved. I mean, I think the association as we knew it years ago is not the association of today, and it's certainly not the association of tomorrow. And it's getting guys like Matt involved that are going to help. I'm not saying anything about where it's been, but I'm saying moving forward, this all looks like good business.
By the way, I haven't told anybody this yet.
Okay, so we need to keep this between us as well.
Keep it a secret, everybody.
Okay,
don't
just between
tell
us.
Anybody, because by the way, when you do speak things, they happen.
Speak them into
existence.
existence.
When you speak them into existence. But anyhow, thank you, Ken Throckmorton.
Absolutely. DJ Verhey says, hey from South Dakota. Hello, DJ. Benji says, good to see you guys. Good to see you, Benji. Talking about a list of good people.
Great guy.
Shreyas, I butchered that and I apologize. Anyway, rising and shining from across the world while you're greeting the morning sun, we're bidding adieu to the night. Good morning from the other side of the globe.
Wow.
Good morning. Appreciate you tuning in. Landmark Creations, good morning, Joe and Matt. Thank you both for all you do for the fencing industry. Also, the My Salesman 2.0 is amazing. I love it.
It was a lot of work to get that released.
I can only imagine. JC Gurry Signs and Decals says, good morning, guys. Good morning, team. Muck Tape says, hey, guys, loving the discussion. Love Matt's energy. Absolutely. Oh, hey, Matt, don't forget. My son's got a deck tool.
We do have a deck tool, both a staining deck tool and a building deck tool. So if you're into deck buildings or you want to add another link, and I don't know what the price is for the second link. I think there's a discount for it, but if you want a second link, so you can direct people to your fencing site or to your deck building site, you can do that.
I love it. Greg Eubanks, good morning, fellas. Good morning, Craig. Ken Throckmorton says, let's go.
Thank you, Ken.
We know this guy. What's up, Jamie? Matt, you're not going to have time for water skiing if you're on the AFA board. We'll miss you.
All right. So get this. Says Jamie, I will tell you, if anybody sees the picture I posted yesterday, it was Jamie water skiing. By the way, he's not the most athletic guy in the world. I'm just saying. But yesterday was his best ski performance. So we started a Thursday morning ski club. We get up at about 4:30, quarter to 5. We get one of my guys has a fishing / ski boat. He calls it a fishing boat. I call it a ski boat.
Yeah.
Every to each their own. And we there's 4 or 5 of us that go skiing every Thursday morning. Well, we had to move it to Friday morning because I was out of town. I was down in Birmingham, Alabama on the Rickwood project, which is a Major League Baseball project, super cool project. But Jamie yesterday skied his tail off. The best he's ever skied. And I will make time. That's going to be part of my contract with the AFA. That Thursday mornings I'm not available because I will be water skiing. And by the way, we get back to work at about 7:15 to 7:30. We're back here full steam by 7:45.
So it'll be the Matt Warner ski exemption.
Yes.
Okay. Roger Rhodes. Hey guys, what's up? Hello, Roger. All right. And Shreyas says, Shreyas is like full of these. I love this. Here's to conquering the world one on guard at a time with the grace of a fencing master and a finesse of a champion. Wishing you bouts of success and endless parries.
Wow. What a wordsmith.
I love it. Keep those coming. All right. Hey, Matt. So the first hour, we covered some good stuff.
People are like, I don't have any more time for this. I got it.
Well, but here's the thing: is we're getting ready to get into some meat and potatoes here. We're getting ready to get into some good stuff. Let's talk about Unhinged for a minute.
Okay. So this is how it started.
Okay.
So I want to get message about culture and business out there in a different format.
Yep.
I'm not going to talk about exactly what format this is, but it's not a podcast. It's not. And I called you, Joe, and I said, hey, here's an idea. And Brad Williams has been the key on this, and he's the one that is the inspiration behind it all. He's the one that said, Matt, I told him, I said, I want to do something fresh and unique and a little bit risky in the industry. 2 weeks later, he calls me back and he says, here's this idea. He lays it out for me. Go. How much and go. Yep. So my salesman is the main sponsor. We haven't taken on sponsors, but the idea is that we're going to need more sponsors down the road to help keep this going and to get the next season going. I don't want to say too many things other than it is a mystery.
Yep.
It is about a fence company that lands a bigger job than what they can normally chew off, and the struggles.
Yep.
The plot is constantly thickening. So if you listen to, okay. I don't know how to do. I just want to say what it is, but
I know.
Have all these people saying, just wait until it's more ready. But fence industry, I want you all to know that this is a fence guy getting out of his comfort zone and trying to do something different and unique and fresh. It's probably not going to be for everyone.
Well,
and that's okay.
I think it's going to be relatable to fence guys. They could relate maybe to a few of the characters, right? But it's about taking chances.
Yes.
Right? It's about getting out of your comfort zone.
Things going wrong. Solving riddles.
Which relatable.
You think?
Relatable. There's a fun twist to it, right? It could be described as a comedy.
We're trying to do a little bit of comedy.
Yeah. Some drama, some mystery.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's all of this wrapped into one. And so one thing we've talked about for a while is trying to find a way to describe what it is without just telling what it is, or without just like letting that cat out of the bag fully. It's like, by the way, if you Google it, you're probably going to have a hard time even finding something like it. It's so risky.
So
and that's why it's hard to explain, because we can't say, oh, it's like this, but a little bit different. It's our twist on this, or it's your spin on this, because there is no this.
It might be a little bit of what they call the Studebaker factor. And I don't know if you know what that is or not.
Just talk to me as if I don't know what that is.
See what you did there. I'm using that. I'm using that, by the way. There's a nugget right there. When you don't know what the heck somebody's talking about, talk to me as if I don't know.
Just explain it to me as if I'm not familiar.
So the Studebaker was a wonderful car built in the 40s and the 50s, and they were the first car to have the headlights that had the cover that opened up. Okay. They were the first car to have power windows. They were way ahead of their time, and so far ahead of their time, it basically bankrupted them. It basically put them out of business. The Studebaker is a wonderful car. They're still out there once in a while. I studied it a little bit because I have family members that are Studebaker. My uncle Robert is a Studebaker. His name's Robert Studebaker, and he is a descendant from that family. But the Studebaker factor, it's the same thing that I thought was going to happen to my salesman. I thought my salesman was going to die in 2015 and 16 because people just didn't understand that it's okay to put a ballpark number out there between $5,000 and $7,000. You're not giving away any answers. You're actually giving people what they want, which is a little bit of intel, and plus you're taking in intel. That's my salesman. This series that we're doing, this thing that we're putting together, it might be a little bit ahead of its time, and it might take in 5 years, it might pop back up. We don't know. I am committed to doing it twice, so we're going to do the one, and then we're going to do another one. I'm going to try to get some other people to actually put some money in because my salesman is footing the entire bill for this to bring it to the fence industry. So with that being said, I don't want to give too much away. It is in Nebraska,
nowhere in Nebraska.
No worry. Yeah, no worry. You have to kind of say it like don't let your tongue move. No worry. No worry, Nebraska is where it takes place. And it does involve a contractor, Mr. Pickett's. It has a lady in there, and her name is Waverly, which happens to be our town. There's some funny little plays. We talk about runzas for all of you that have ever been to Nebraska. Runzas are a thing here, so we talk about runzas. So it is a comedy. It's good. I want everybody to stay tuned, keep tracking it, please. Give it a chance, and don't just throw it away after the first episode. Get into the second episode, and I believe you're going to fall in love with some of the characters and what we're trying to do here.
I think you're selling it a little short. Because we did a table read, all of us that are involved in it, of the first episode.
Was that not fun?
Well, we called each other like right after that. We're like, is that seriously the only one we're doing? We should basically do all of these. Like each episode should have a table read. This was but that was only the first episode, Matt. And that's what I'm saying is like, I think, and I don't know, maybe it was because we were like involved in the process that it seems like more interesting to us. Maybe I don't think so though. Like the first episode's establishing characters, it's establishing the plot, right? So, but I think the first episode gets people involved, and then you definitely want to stay tuned because I'm giving you my experience, hopefully without saying too much. Brad's maybe I get a call from Brad next. Be like, hey, listen, let's not say any more of that.
Hey, and by the way, I do not want to take credit for this. This is Brad's idea. All I did was gave him the yes, let's go. So this is not a Matt Warner came up with this thing. This is I asked him, can you help me do something new and unique and fresh in the industry other than a podcast? And by the way, I love all you podcasters. I listen to a lot of you, Dan Wheeler and Dan Blanc and you and I listen to all of them. My thing is I just wanted something for the other audience that isn't listening to them that they might be attracted to, and it's very kid friendly. It's very so young people are going to love it. It's very clean. It's very well done. Mark Olson see, he stopped and ate a Runza when he was going through Nebraska. Yes, Runzas are a thing in Nebraska. Bush Light, Runzas, and cruising out and smelling the alfalfa fields is a thing in Nebraska. All right, very good. So that's enough about what we're doing with Unhinged. Please, folks, give us a shot, give us a chance. I think you're gonna like it. It's coming. The first episode is going to be released June 25th. I really, this is being risky, but let me relate this to business just a little bit.
Yeah.
We built a building on a project that nobody else wanted to do. And sometimes in order for you to grow your business or even to take that next step, you have to risk a little bit. You have to get out of your comfort zone.
Sure.
I am one that teaches, yes, do what you do and do it well. Mm-hmm. Know your bread and butter. By the way, we're a really good netting company. I'm going to brag and say, I think we're one of the top 3 netting companies in the nation. As far as when Major League Baseball calls you and says, be here, that's a big testimony. But also, we are very good at large commercial industrial projects. Those are our bread and butter. We travel literally. We've gone from Puerto Rico to Hawaii, from North Dakota to Lima, Peru, South America. We've spread the goal, and people are always like, Matt, how do you get this done? I'm like, it's not that hard once you screw it up and you learn what not to do. It's pretty simple. So that's where we're going with this, is we're trying to get out of this comfort zone. It literally is a way for me to stretch myself.
Sure. But I think in a way that people will relate to, they'll understand a lot of the pain points that come up in the story. Like I said, it'll be very relatable. Each episode, my experience was each episode, there's a twist in there that I didn't necessarily see coming. I thought I knew where things were going, and they didn't go that way. Like they went a different direction, same general direction, but they went a different way.
And I'm hoping that this is something that you share with your people, and especially your families, in the younger people. I think it's something that the 10 to 17-year-olds are going to find really interesting. It's a way to get them involved a little bit into your fence industry, or if you're going on vacation, it's something you can listen to. By the way, Craig.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know. What am I doing? See, that's me. I'm sorry. It's your show.
No. We were going there. You just beat me to it. That's good.
So this is extremely experimental, folks. We're going to, what I've done is I've sent it out to 9 people. No, not a video.
Yeah, so it's audio form.
Audio form, yes. And it's not big enough to be on Netflix, boy. But wouldn't that be cool, Joe? Anyhow, I think it's I'm trying to think. We're gonna go on Apple. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Joe, I believe your show is going to promote it through your channel. Yes, is going to be a big thing. So if you follow Joe, you're going to get. Matter of fact, we're probably going to have Joe even help us with the release of it. And then, by the way, after the episodes, Joe and I are going to do a little breakdown.
Yes,
because I am Miracle Matt. All right, so all right, doggone it. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. So I'm Miracle Matt. I'm a radio DJ guy that basically that one of the characters calls in when he's having business problems, and we literally, like, it's a call-in talk show, and then I talk about how to apply that with culture and business. So
it's dropping golden nuggets in each episode.
Golly, I feel like I'm doing way too much talking. I am so
no. I was just emphasizing. You're spot on.
I so there's going to be nuggets out there and things to take, and then Joe and I are going to try to make it expand on a little bit.
Yeah.
But let me promise you this, folks: if you tune into Joe's show, we are. Anything that we do that's dumb does not reflect on Joe. It reflects on Matt Warner.
Listen.
But I will tell you, Matt the Miracle is a radio DJ guy that does give the business and life lessons and coaching. And then in episode, we're already talking about season 2 that's coming.
Yep.
that Matt the Miracle gets a little bit more involved. And so there's some good stuff going on. We've been working on, when did we start this? About January, February?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
So-
around FinStech is when we were. Yeah.
The first 3 episodes are all edited. I've only actually heard the first 2. I mean, I've read the whole storyline, but I've only heard the first 2. But it's good. So, folks, please follow Joe. More details coming, and I need to shut up because I'm going to say something that I'm not supposed to say.
No, I guys, Matt said it very well in that you're going to want to listen to it. It's not the reason we're having a hard time describing it without giving away the whole thing is because there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So I think it could be best described as an audio drama, but we've talked about when we're talking about, we're like, well, but can we say audio drama and still like get the point across that because there hasn't been an audio drama in the fencing industry, right? So if we say that, people will be like, well, how does that relate to things that I know?
Yeah.
I don't, it's hard to talk about, but
it's tough. And we are going to reach out to the industry and see if we can get some other people promoting it because it's expensive to produce and it's expensive to get out there.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping that I can get some people on board. I'm hoping people will fall in love with season 1 and say, you know what, Matt, I can kick in a few dollars if I can get a plug here or there. And it's right now it's 100% funded by myself and my salesman. It's and when I say myself, remember I take some of my personal profits in the company and I put it back into new ideas so it doesn't burden our company, which is another life lesson that when you have multiple companies, you have to be very careful with what you do with your pots of money. And you have to, when you pull out dividends and you pull out different monies, you have to literally loan them to your other companies. And Joe, I know you're shaking your head because you're sitting in this arena. And right now we have 7 businesses that we're running all simultaneously. And it's very important. I could do a whole show on how to run multiple businesses. And by the way, a great way to grow your business is to diversify. Get into something a little bit different, something that can accent it. But there's going to be a day you're going to call yourself or your friend up and say, I'm wondering if I should shut this branch down because it's hemorrhaging. I did it. I've done it. I've been scared. I've talked to friends in the industry. I've had multiple people call and say, how do you run 7 companies? I'm like, well, I don't. I don't. I have to have people that do them. Ron Dubas does a great job over at the USS side. Rachel and Kelsey do a great job at the My Salesman side. Jamie and the guys that are doing that. Colleen and Dustin do a great job. All my team do a great job, and we empower them and let them go. Golly, there I went again. Another
well, so I'm smiling and nodding because my wife and I had this discussion last night. One of the companies that I'm in, we have residential real estate, just rental homes. We decided now's maybe the time to get rid of a few.
Yep.
And so we were going to take dividends from that. Right, where membership draws, however you want to call it. There's a term, a legal term. If you use another term, it's not. We were going to legally pay ourselves through this business. Well, then an opportunity came up to buy a building that we're currently leasing. So I was like, well, all right. So you know how I told you that we were going to pull money out? Actually, now what I'm thinking we're going to do is the money we were going to have available in that, and it's almost to the dollar. And I don't believe in coincidences. It's almost to the dollar of the down payment or the deposit, whatever that we would have to put on this building to buy the building that we're leasing.
Isn't that weird?
It is so close. It's scary. Cause I'm like, wait, do you know them? Like, are you two in cahoots somehow? Which isn't actually possible. But
and by the way, Joe, once you go into that commercial property, you're going to be able to do a cost seg even on a used building.
Yep.
So you can do a cost seg, which you can take all the different components. For those of you out there that don't know what cost segregation is, this, by the way, this there's a lot to be learned in business. There's a lot of what I call 100 level classes. There's a lot of 200 level classes, 300, 400, 500, 600 level classes. This is about that 300 to 400 level class of cost segregation. You might be able to think that you can't afford a building, but if you're profitable, rather than paying taxes, you can buy a building, cost seg to a certain point,
Yep.
take an accelerated depreciation over the 5 years rather than the 41 years, and you can push that through, and you can get a great tax deduction over the next 5 years. So let's say you're making $1 million a year. Everybody knows that you can buy a vehicle, and if the government allows it and it's over a certain weight, you can depreciate that 100%. So you can take that depreciation 100%. Even if you have to borrow part of the money, you can actually accelerate that to save you on taxes on the back end. Well, you can do the same thing with a building. The doorknobs, the doors, some interior things, the FF&E, all these things, you can take that accelerated depreciation even on a used building, which actually might put more money in your pocket over the next 5 years. And if you do it on a 15-year note, if you go get an SBA, you lock in a 20. You can go do a 20 on an SBA, and then you lock in your interest rate. You can't pay it off early. There's some that's a whole other show in itself also. Yeah. And now we're talking those 300 and 400 level classes of business. By the way, those are the things I want to talk to my friends in the industry about. Is if you don't know how to read your balance sheet, I want to kick you in the pants because you should be way past that.
Yeah.
And if you're too embarrassed to ask, then doggone it, put your pride aside and go out there and have a friend explain your balance sheet. You have to understand your balance sheet because there's a way more to learn out there that can save you money.
Oh yeah.
In the long run.
Well, and that was part of our discussion about putting this money into this. So there's it's a 1031 exchange.
Yes.
Right. So the profit we would have realized from the sale of this property, we can roll that straight into the commercial property, into the purchase price of the commercial property, and not pay tax on that profit. We're really kind of deferring it.
Yep, not on the capital gains.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to pay. You'll have to pay some taxes, but you won't have to. You can push your capital gains through. You have 60 days to clarify what you're going to buy. Then you have a year to actually make the purchase. By the way, Joe, that's 400 or 500 level thinking.
Right.
I'm proud of you, man. Way to go, dude.
Listen, so you came to play because you and I and Caleb and Braden, if you watch the show, you remember Braden, we had this conversation in an Uber on the way. I think we're going to the cigar place, right?
We went and smoked the cigar.
So
Caleb doesn't even smoke cigars, and I don't even know if he drinks bourbon, but he was like, I'm in. Let's go.
Well, as we were getting out, the Uber driver's like, this has been my most educational Uber ride ever.
The Uber driver loved it.
Yeah.
And we sat in the corner of this room and we talked strategies. And I told you guys, listen, this is what I'm learning, guys. I'm so excited to tell all of you that there's other ways in business to save money.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, but this all relates to taking your personal money and reinvesting it, knowing that really if you reinvest it, it grows, right? So where we could have a small pot of money today, hopefully we'll have a larger pot tomorrow and on and on and on. But that is the life of an entrepreneur like, just like, all right, I can make do for a little while longer. I don't really need this right now.
What I'm hoping to do with Unhinged is in season 2, I'm going to introduce some of these next level thinking ideas, and then you and I are going to break them down and talk about them. And that's going to be the more of the podcast side of it. But it's really, I'm hoping to just purely bring education. That's it. And by the way, I'm not going to ever be the guy that's going to tell you how to build a fence. I'm sorry. Joe, that's you do a great job of that. And by the way, I love your little videos when you watch. You'll see. Do you see my little comments that I make once in a while? They make me chuckle. So thank you for that. But I want to talk. I want to help people in the other areas of their business. I want to be there available for when Justin calls me on Staining and says, "Hey, I need a warehouse. How do I do this?" I got you, brother.
Yep.
I can coach you up on that. Well, I'm not a coach, but I can help.
Yeah.
I can help steer you down the right road. Sure. I never really want to be a coach. I just want to be a friend in the industry. Yeah. John Maxwell always starts his speeches with, "Hi, my name's John, and I want to be your friend." I've stolen that from him because I start my things now. "Hey, my name's Matt Warner. I just want to be your friend. I don't have an agenda. If you
Yeah.
happen to buy my salesman, you're going to help give me a little bit of money that I can do more. But I want to try to help the industry grow in that way. So the next
Absolutely.
level thinking was what I was trying to get at. But hey, by
Yeah.
the way, Roger says that we're doing a good job of building some suspense.
Yeah, and it wasn't even intentional. We're just trying to describe it without giving away the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Thank you,
But-
Roger, because I was wondering if we're blowing it.
I don't think we gave away too much. I think we talked about it, but June 25th, right?
Yes.
So stay tuned. Yeah, as Matt said, stay tuned to the channel across my socials. If you follow me anywhere, you will absolutely keep hearing about it, and you'll probably start hearing more about it. We'll start talking
June
a little bit more.
25th, Unhinged is coming to you all, and I hope you all enjoy it, and I hope you all say that was a breath of fresh air.
And you'll be able to find it most likely where, on your favorite podcasting app, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, whether it's YouTube podcast, YouTube pod or something, or whatever YouTube calls the podcast. You're going to find it wherever you consume that content.
Yep. We're going to have
Hey.
a channel on Spotify. So
Hey Matt, I need to talk to you.
yes, sir.
So you're talking about how you've got a team in place, but you're still in contact with the team. The guys over at USS, do you have any pull over there? Maybe.
What do you need, Joe?
I need a hat.
Oh, you do?
Well, here's the thing. So
Yes, I can.
I went
Oh my
looking for my USS hat today, and
Okay.
so my daughter wore it. We were in Florida last summer for vacation. We went fishing. She needed a hat. I had my USS hat. I took it on vacation because it's orange. My wife, she created a rule: I can't wear Ozark fence gear on vacation because she's used to seeing it all the time. She's like, "Hey, it would be nice to also vacation from that for a little while." Like, okay, but she didn't say orange. And so I've got like a Freedom Fence orange shirt. I've got all this orange stuff. So,
Well,
but
USS is orange because
Yes.
we do promote safety, and safety is orange is a color of safety. So, hey, and I'll brag a little bit on that USS.
yeah,
Too, a little bit. What they're doing is it's okay. So, Unlimited Sports Solutions, for anybody of you that don't know that, so we specialize in netting. And sports construction. We have a whole entire division at Empire that is sports construction. That's all we focus on, because I do believe that focus is a lot like a magnifying glass. That when you put that light through it, you can start fires. So you do have to build a focus. And when you start multiple companies, you have to put somebody that'll hold that iron every single day. Well, Max and Ron over there at USS are doing a wonderful job. The whole team is. They're growing like crazy. We're going to double again in size, 100%
Nice.
growth, which is I'm very humbled at how hard our people work, and I'm very excited about where they're going, what they're doing. But we are producing more netting systems and foul poles than I ever dreamed we could do. I have a whole entire yard full of stuff. We're building dugouts. We're building scorer tables for parks and recs. And by the way, fence industry, stop selling yourself short. You can do a padding job, and you can do it better than most. I promise you. And you're going to love doing padding, because all you do is you take a Tapcon and you put a Z channel on the wall at really level with some measurement, and you hang the dang pad. And by the way, you could probably do a $60,000 pad job in a couple days. Well, do the math on that. Would you like to mark up $60,000 that you can do in 2 or 3 days? That's an incredible profit per day. You should know your RP. Everybody should know what their RPP is. Revenue per person. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You should know what that is. And that it's not a mandatory, we have to hit this, but it's a great idea or target of zone. And the more you can get that above that 250 in the fence industry, I'm going to give you all a little bit of what I've learned. By the way, I'm not making this up. I've proven this in our company, that if you can get your RPP above 250,000, you're going to be doing pretty good. And it's a great telltale sign that we need to hire people. But if you fall below that, now it's a great sign to say, okay, Do we have too many people?
Sure.
Or are we not being efficient enough? Are we not hitting our mark? I just challenged Jamie and Scott. And I don't know how much I should talk about numbers or what, because I don't like to talk our numbers, but I'm telling you, I just pushed their RPP to a new level. We're getting to a new level. We're already well above the 250,000. That's not a brag. I'm telling you guys, if you don't know your RPP, you should. When you do a padding job and you have 2, maybe 3 guys out there, and in that week they do a $60,000 padding job, and then they go do a $10,000 fence job or an $8,000 fence job, which is very doable.
Yep.
Now you're talking $70,000, $80,000 over a 5-day period. The RPP on that is out of the roof.
It's huge.
So look at other things and don't be so narrow-minded to think I can't do that. Joe,
Sure.
matter of fact, you saw the padding, how easy it is to install.
Yeah. Oh,
we
yeah.
build it all here for you.
Right. Well, and you guys make it easy to sell too. So we've got a minor league team here in town. So I've talked to them in the past. We did some videos with them, and then I was talking to the USS guys there at FenceTech. One, we did a video about how easy it is to install. But 2, I was talking to them offline, and they're like, "All right, here's your key talking points: A, B, C, D. If you cover these, this is going to fill the need that they're looking for." And so they also helped me with that, right? To say, "Hey, here's some talking points. Here's likely you need to ask these questions to figure out if these are their needs. They probably are. And here's how we can help solve the problems." Right.
Yeah.
So then all I had to do was go in and just have a conversation, say, "Hey, if you ever have this need, or this need, or have these, they have a contractor right now that they deal with, but they're out of town and this and that and the other." So I said, "Hey, if you ever have these problems, let me know." And that happened early this year. So right after FenceTech, I reached out and I was like, "Hey, da 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 da." And so recently they had said, "Hey, remember when we were talking about?" They were talking about how quick it would be to transition, right? Like how quickly can we do replacement? They're updating, right? And so anyway, and so I was able to answer those intelligently and say, "Hey, I've got a domestic manufacturer. They're actually in our region. They're up in Nebraska. They handle it all right there. They can get it to me quickly, and I can get these installed quickly," and on and on. And they're like, "Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, well, let us get back to you." But we wanted to. So anyway.
Yeah.
They also make it easy to sell.
I think it's great. And by the way, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. A lot of people think that they need to skip their distributor or buy direct from the manufacturer. That's very, very, very narrow-minded thinking, folks. I love my distributors. I love them. But you know what? I make them work for me. I make them earn their by the way, they don't make a lot of markup in the distribution. You're in the distribution world.
Yeah.
You're a distributor.
Yep.
There's not a ton of markup there.
Not nearly as much as people think there is.
Yeah. So you're not saving that much. And by the way, when these big manufacturers out there call you up and say, "We want to sell direct to you," you should say, who do I call when there's a warranty work? Is it you? And they're like, "Oh, no. You have to call your distributor." More likely they'll say, "You have to call your distributor. They'll help you." Wait a minute. So then I got to go back to that distributor that didn't make any money off of me calling them on warranty work.
Yeah.
That's malarkey.
Yeah.
I
"Hey, sorry I cut you out of this deal, but I need your help."
But now I need your help. That's just ruining me. That's not good culture. Culture doesn't just happen inside your company. It happens on the outside of your company, what you do. And by the way, you need to take good care of your distributors. You need to write them checks that won't bounce. You need to call them when you, by the way, I have called distributors before and said, "Listen, I don't have this check. Can I have 2 more weeks?" And since we pay our bills on time, all the time, they've given me the grace period of that 2 more weeks. As soon as I get the check, I write them and I go. So distributorship is a good thing. USS, I'm going to build USS for the fence industry. It is going to love the fence industry the most. Now, there's some other industries out there that want to install dugouts. But I'm telling you right now, fence industry, This is for you to go and make more money on. I don't want to sell to the general contractors. I don't want to sell to directly to the school. I want to sell to you, let you mark it up and let you go and install it because I want you to stand behind it on the warranty. Whenever a school buys something direct and then you have to go do labor only, who covers the warranty on that? That margin of money that you make on your material is what you stand behind the material with your warranty. Because most of the time they'll give you a new part, but who pays for that labor and the warranty?
Yeah,
you do. So you have to make that money. Don't let them kid you. Well, you're just going to mark that up. I need to buy that direct. Well, buy it direct. I will not stand behind the warranty then.
sure. Yeah.
And
Here's
you
my
follow
service
that-
call rate.
Yep. So I hope that wasn't too blunt. I hope that a whole bunch of manufacturers don't call me up and say, "Thanks, Matt, you just ruined this for me." But I'm telling you, distributors are good. I love my Kevin Simon. I call him at 4:00 in the morning when he's feeding his cattle, and he answers every single time. Kevin and I, by the way, I didn't think the guy liked me for years, and actually I found out that he just has a horrible, dry sense of humor. But he actually cracks me up all the time. But he has become part of my family now. I call him when I have questions and I need some. My team calls him. They know. So distributorship's good. USS is a distributor of a product that my in-house company ESC, our fab shop, we make the stuff, we sell it to USS, and then USS goes out and sells it because I have to have that layer there to have the support to take care of
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot. Sorry. Gosh darn it. I am
So-
just a hockey chatty Cathy today.
But the hat.
Oh, back to the
you-
hat. Yes. I will send Ron a text right now.
Oh,
Send
okay.
Joe a new hat.
Well, so what
Joe-
happened was I obviously knew we were talking this morning. So I was like, oh, I need that hat because it's orange lettering, black. It matches the aesthetic. My daughter has claimed it permanently, and she said it fits her head, and she doesn't want to give it back. Well, all right. This was a pick your battles kind of morning, and that wasn't the one. So I was like, okay, well, different hat it is. But anyway,
I will get you. I just sent Ron a text. You will have a hat next week, my friend.
I appreciate that. Oh,
Good.
So I want to make sure also we're going to segue here. We talked about My Salesman 2.0
Yes.
earlier. It was on our list of things to talk about because, and I say that, and the reason it's on our list is Ozark Fence just was transitioned to 2.0.
Yeah.
And I knew like some of the things that were coming because you and Rachel had kind of shared them with me. Hey, here's what's coming down the road and all that. Gave a little input, or you asked for a little input on it and all that. The reporting and the analytics is there's more to it, but that's where I see a tremendous amount of value, right? And just in I think we've had it all for like 2 or 3 days. I think it was earlier this week we got transitioned over to it. Reporting and analytics are worth it if that's the only thing, and it's not. But you can see what your like you said, what your customers are requesting. You can see. I don't want Rachel to be mad at me either. But
Well, here's the thing, folks. If you liked My Salesman, what we call classic, we don't call it the 1.0, we call it the classic. You're going to love the 2.0 once you get used to it. It is a little bit more deep, and it does do more. Here's my thing. I've decided I want to stay in that front end of the business. I don't want to be a CRM. I don't want to be an estimating software. Sure. I want to save time. 86,400 seconds per day. We all get the same. You've heard I have that 16 to 18 minute speech I do on time. Time is the most precious thing. Joe, we are all trying to figure out how to get more time. Mm-hmm. Joe, in October, I watched my grandmother pass, and she was dying from a lung disease, and it was very hard. And I went up to visit her on a Monday, and they came in and they said, Mrs. Warner, your time is getting near. And she was on hospice, and she said, well, how much time do I have? And they're like, well, we really don't know. And she kind of chuckled, and she was not like 92 years old. She kind of chuckled, and she up here 100%. Her body was just dying.
Yeah.
So she goes, oh, come on, just tell me, how much time do I have? And he goes, we just don't know. She goes, okay, when you turn the gas off, because they were giving her as much gas as she could take, her body could take, and that they could give her. When you turn the gas off, how much time do I have? She was trying to measure that time in a 24 to 72 hour period. Time is the most precious commodity we have, folks.
Yeah.
If you don't understand that it takes time to go meet with a dead end lead, then you don't understand what My Salesman is all about.
Yep.
You don't understand the value. If you tell me I can sell every single job, I can do this every single time, you don't understand what time means. When I watched my grandmother, by the way, it was 17 minutes. When they turned the gas down, it was 17 minutes. One of the absolute most painful things I've ever watched. So now time has even become bigger to me. I even put more of a value on it. I am a calmer, more thought-provoking Matt Warner because I witnessed that. I want you all to know that 2.0 was built to save time and to help you with your marketing. We're going to stay in our space in that front end because time is valuable. You have to understand that. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing your tail forever. You're never, ever, you're going to fall off that balance beam more time. Going back to the beginning, you're going to fall off that balance beam more times than you can get back on it. And eventually you're going to break down. So anything you can do to save your time by using technology, by understanding there's softwares out there to help you understand your people. There's softwares out there that will help you stay organized. There's softwares out there. Job Nimbus will automatically text your customer for you. There's softwares out there that will give your idea a given idea of what this fence will cost. And you even taught me you can use it in a whole nother way. You do a whole consulting package without spending any time on the road.
Yep.
How about that for a freaking value?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
and that's
2.0 in a nutshell. Once again, I just went on a rant.
If you liked My Salesman Classic, it's the same base functionality, right? It still acts the same. It still works the same. Now it's just deeper, right? You get more data. You understand where your leads are coming from, what they're asking for. It gives you just more rich data, right? You're still getting the map. You're still getting the budget. You're still getting all of the base functionality. You're just getting deeper data. It's going more into detail on how'd they find you, where are they at. If you let's say this, if you'd like a demo, Rachel, Kelsey, the team, I'm sure would be glad to walk you through it, to show you exactly. I don't want to go into too much detail because I probably won't do it justice.
Yeah,
but
and we are doing a rebranding a little bit. Sam Natello over at .com is doing a brand new website for it. So, but mysalesman.com, that's it. Just go to mysalesman.com if you want to check it out. And by the way, if you don't like it, that's fine. But there's no contract. There's no nothing. You get the first 30 days for free, and then you start paying the next month. So basically, folks, you can try it for 15 days. It doesn't cost you a thing. If you don't, throw it away. You're not going to hurt my feelings. We have over 600 customers across the United States that love us, and we're doing great with it.
Well, and I think that shows you how confident the team is that you'll love it, right? To say, we're not going to trap you in a contract. We're not going to make you, because we know you're going to love it and you're going to see the value on day one. So, sure. I mean, you could leave if you want to, but we know you're not going to want to.
It takes 45 minutes to an hour to onboard. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you can tweak it and grow it how you want after that.
Sure.
And then plus, not only do you get that, but then you get Monday with Matt, which the first Monday of every month at 6:00 Central Time, I get on, I talk about goal setting. I talk about anchor projects. This week, I'm talking about good. You need to learn to say good, go. And it's going to be powerful. I'm telling you, when I learned this is in 2017, when I learned how to say good, we doubled. And then we doubled. And we doubled. For 4 years in a row, we doubled. Hold on to your hat, folks. You want to talk about crazy growth outside. Joe, when you and I first met, I think we had maybe 8 people.
Yeah.
So you've seen this happen. So I'm not talking to you that, hey, this is the right or wrong way. I'm saying This is what we did and it worked. make your own recipe and implement something. But yeah, anyhow, enough about my salesman 2.0.
I love it.
I
love it. I love it.
Enough. So we got USS.
Yep.
By the way, anybody wants to contact that, Ron and Max and Tim and the guys over there will take good care of you.
Hey, Matt, let me throw out a crazy scenario with USS.
Okay.
Say, and this is just a wild scenario. If I needed like a 24-inch diameter, I don't know, 70-foot long pole, like that's crazy, right? Like that, like, is that a thing?
Joe, we just sent 4 of them for a project out the road, went down the road. 71-foot long, 24-inch diameter backstop poles. Yes, we can do it, and we can ship them anywhere in the United States. So
wild.
Yes.
That's but so as long as you're not, asking for something crazier than 2-foot diameter, 70-foot long, like anything less than that's piece of cake at this point.
We have a project in Billings, Montana that I believe it might take a 36-inch diameter pole, and I was so excited because I thought, how much fun will that be to make?
No
Woo!
Kidding. You can crawl inside that dude.
I love it. You might see a live video of me coming out of it.
So I was going to say, I love like getting notifications. Matt's going live. Like, well, I'm tuning in. Whatever I was just doing, I'm not doing that anymore.
By the way, I don't get on our company. I don't do Facebook really very well at all. I'm like a silent stalker, but I do have my own personal page, Matt Warner. So and you'll know it when you see it. It's me. It's my family. It's my personal stuff. And then I go out and try to once in a while because I want people to know this is coming from me. The company is itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is coming from. I'm sharing with you something that is personal to me. I'm not doing this to get more likes on my Facebook page for anything. I'm not doing this. I'm amazed sometimes at the stuff we do.
It's cool. And here's the thing is like, it's also neat to watch you be so excited just because like, I think that's relatable, right? To be like, hey, check out this cool. Well, when we got the wire weaving machine, I couldn't get enough of that thing. There's still a little bit of that thing that seems like magic to me, but so I can relate to watch you get so excited. You're like the dragon, right? Or isn't that what it's called? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Holy magic. That thing is.
So get this: a 36-foot long cantilever gate used to take us about 4 hours to cut all the pieces and parts. And you know what?
Yep.
5 people out there that do it way faster than us.
Sure.
Okay.
But that's a good rate.
Not anymore. 18 minutes. 18 minutes. I can cut all the pieces and parts for an 8-foot tall, 36-foot long cantilever gate. 18 minutes. 18 minutes, Joe. Talk about time saving. Isn't that crazy?
Well, I remember because when you and I were talking, I was out there and you and I were talking about it. You were like, man, now the bad thing is this thing just sits idle longer than it works because it's so efficient and it's so quick that it's pushing out all this material faster than we need it now because, processes.
My brain did not comprehend that. I did not understand that it's okay for it to only work 2 hours in the morning and sit the rest of the day. I was like, hey, we got to get this machine's $125,000. We got to get this machine going.
Yep.
No, we don't, Matt. It runs for 2 hours and it makes all of us busy all day long.
Yeah, that's the thing is really you got to view it from the output, right? Yeah. The efficiencies is
it's so hard to understand that business model.
But and now you've got capacity.
Yeah.
But no, that whole thing. So I say that to say, watching you get excited in your lives, I'm here for it. If you guys don't follow Matt, you should follow Matt.
I don't do them all the time, but I do hop on. Hey, and by the way, DJ said Monday Matt has been great. Thank you so much. I need to hear that once in a while because I don't want to do stuff half-ass. I don't like that. I want to be. And by the way, I really spend the entire month preparing for that meeting. I want you to have value. Matter of fact, I crumbled up and threw away my notes that I was going to send out to everybody because I was like, this needs to be better. So today and tomorrow, I'm working on better notes to send out to my people of why you need to say good and why you need to let things go before they get perfect. Perfection will never, ever let you grow. And it's a hard thing to understand, Joe.
Well, it is. And it's hard to implement so I had heard a talk similar to that it was at a social media conference. and they're saying, hey, when it comes to video, good is better than perfect. Because what do they say? I forget exactly. Good is better than perfect because done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Getting it out and just repetitions, because then you get incrementally better. Right.
And
if you're
by the
good,
way,
fine.
By the way, if you put it out when you're good, then you're done. You'll get to the finish line faster. I tell my people all the time, we're still in progress here. We're not at the you can be done with the race and never finish the race. But if you don't start and try, you'll never ever get to the finish line. So you have to get to the finish line. You have to put one step in front of the other. And so Monday's meeting, by the way, DJ, thank you. I need to hear that once in a while because I wonder if we're putting out a good message.
If you guys don't tune into Mondays with Matt, you absolutely should. Which is a perk of being a My Salesman customer.
I hope so. I want to bring more value.
Is. Yeah. You're telling me I could get, in my inbox, or I can view a Talk with Matt every month for the same money that I was paying before for my sales, which is already a good value. That's the thing is I always used to tell people, I was like, hey, listen, don't tell Rachel, but it's actually a little too cheap for the value we get. But don't tell her because then she might raise her rates. So
get this, Joe, our cost of keeping My Salesman up to date with Chrome and Firefox and all that, you have to constantly keep, the cost went up substantially. And I had to make a really tough decision. I had to raise the cost substantially, almost double it, right? And in the industry, in the SaaS world, my research told me that we should lose about 30 to 40% of our customers.
Oh.
We lost 6.
Yeah.
6 people. Now, we had some people call and say, holy cow, you're doubling it? Which that was a mistake on mine, because what I should have done was 3 years earlier when I saw the cost going up, I should have done it slow. By the way, in the industry, they call that price creeping. I hate price creeping.
Yeah.
I wanted to just say, you know what, here it is. This is what we did. I don't believe that price creeping is a good thing to do to entrepreneurs. So we just took the leap. And at the time when we did it, we had 488 customers, I think, and we lost 6 people went to our competitor in the industry. And that's great. You know what? And maybe we weren't the right fit for them anyhow.
Yeah.
So I think that's qualifying our customer also. So it's good.
Well, and so the funny thing is, I had been telling people this, it's too cheap. For the value, it's too cheap. And then I heard hey, listen, because I got the email, price is going up. I'm well, okay. So we're correcting to the value. Okay. But then the price increase came out. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. That it wasn't as much, because I always think in my head, okay, based on the value, if we get out of it, here's probably the number I would put on it as far as time saved, fuel saved, all that sort of stuff. Yep. And the new number came out. I was like, oh, yeah, still that's good. Fine. We're still good. We're still under the number I assigned to it. And so
we held that price for over 10 years. And it was not. I did not want to raise the price. I tried, but we weren't being profitable. And then I'm out there telling people you need to be a profit center. I'm like, holy cow, I need to practice what I preach.
And I think contractors will understand that, right? So, listen, we get price creep from our vendors, right? That's not only a SaaS thing. That's also, you see it in the price of steel, or you see it in the price of lumber, or whatever. It's just a fact of life. Hey, well, pre-COVID, we were getting 1 to 2 price increases a year. You could almost set your watch by it. Hey, first quarter and then usually third quarter, you're getting a price increase. It was just like the cost of doing business. So I think, it's a concept that people are pretty familiar with of, hey, I've got to raise my prices as a business because my costs are going up, right? Now, we also try to keep the cost to our customers consistent, but at the same time, if my cost goes up, my price goes up. It's all tied together. So I think people can relate, Matt, when you say, hey, my cost went up, so I had to bring the price up.
Yeah, it was a scary thing. And Rachel does have a good point. She was super nervous about sending it out, but we just had to rip the Band-Aid off and send it out. And that's never a good thing. Guys, listen, I'm an entrepreneur too. I don't like price increases. And by the way, I don't like when the mill is jacking us around right now on 3-inch pipe. I don't know if you know, been following what's going on 3-inch pipe across the country right now, but I was hot because these mills were jacking us around, and that's I don't want to go into that because I'm going to get angry because I don't like it when big companies like that mess with us out here that are trying to make a living. But anyhow, enough of that. What else?
Agreed.
We should. Holy cow! I think I just went for the longest podcast with Joe ever.
That's what Roger said. I'm trying to think Matt formulated these concepts, just not Caleb, out of the longest live stream on the channel. Guys, here's the thing. So let me relate this to creating video. So a lot of times people ask me, what's the ideal length of a video? How long should my videos be? And my answer is, as long as it takes to get the message across, as long as it takes to provide value, and not a minute more, not a minute less. That's how long. It could be 45 seconds. It could be an hour. Depends on the content. This show is much the same. It could be an hour. It could be 2 hours. As long as we're in the middle of a great conversation that I'm getting value of, I truly believe you guys are getting value out of it, we'll keep this thing going. Like, the next thing on my calendar is I've got a birthday party at 3 o'clock I should really be at. So, but now, my bladder would burst by then. My eyeballs are just about floating, I think. So
mine are too.
Because this dude's empty. So
yeah, I'm on my second bottle of water, and I've had 3 cups of coffee. But
yeah.
And Corey Bigelow, thank you so much for being on My Salesman Customer. We appreciate that.
Well, so let me tell him my salesman story. So Corey says he didn't know there was a competitor, and we aren't going to find one. There is a time that I did know there was I still know there's a competitor. It's not like I forgot, but they do things in a different way. They just do things in a different way.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I think I want to go try that way. I think, in our business, maybe it works better. And so I let Rachel know, I was like, hey, we're going to cancel the plan. We're going to go try this other thing.
By the way,
yeah,
that was the first time you and I verbally talked because I personally called you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was trying to think of in the beginning. It was like, when did we meet? Yeah. And
I didn't know you from anything other than Ozark Fence. I really didn't. I didn't. This is before you had your show.
Oh, yeah.
Anything. I just knew you were a fence guy down in Springfield, Missouri. And you said that because we couldn't do something. And then I got wind of that, and I was furious. Of what do you mean we can't do something? You mean if somebody else can do something, we can do it. We will do it, and we'll do it better because I am competitive. I was furious. Now, hopefully I didn't let you know that.
No. That didn't come across. Now that I know you, I understand that. But no, at the time. So the way I remember it is I had sent Rachel an email. Hey, here, because I don't want to just leave. I want to give feedback because then what happens could happen. So I sent an email.
It's an exit interview. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, hey, here's some things I'd like it to do. This other thing does those things. Yep. I'm going to go. I would like to cancel because I'm going to go over there. And Rachel's like, okay, actually, we'll just press pause. Like we're gonna keep all your things. We're just gonna press pause.
Which is our protocol.
Okay, yeah. Which we had changed other software, not your software, but we had changed other softwares in the past. That's not normal in the software world. It's usually like, are you sure? Because as soon as you click this button, your company ceased to exist to us. As I think that's probably a way of like retaining people. They're like, oh, I don't want to lose everything. Yep. But Rachel's like, hey, we'll just press pause. Totally fine. Understandable. Like with the things you said, I get it. So, and then you had reached out and you're like, hey, and you had asked for some feedback or some like particulars. Yeah. And we talked about it. And you're like, okay, we're going to do it. And you said, I think you should go try that. I think you should. But
absolutely.
I just wanted to let you know that we heard you. And these are some steps we're going to take to try to achieve that. Like, well, that's new. Also, when we've left a software, never have I ever been reached out to again by anyone, much less the head honcho, to say, hey, I'd like some clarification just so I know what to tell the team, like the direction and this and that.
And for the record, that's what we're doing with USS. anything that you install, I have personally installed, and we will coach you and help you through it, no matter how big or how small, or whether you hire us. We have a consulting package. You can hire us, but you can even ask anybody that we've sold to, Cannon Johnson, anybody. It's the same mentality that I want to have with my salesman with USS. That we will do our best. There is some things that we just can't do.
Sure.
I'm gonna be straight up with you. I want to tell you something that I'm not supposed to say.
Okay.
Google is giving me fits right now. They want so much more money for what we're doing that it's gonna put us out of business if we're not careful. So right now we have everybody on Bing. I don't like Bing as well as I like Google, but that's what I have to do. I have to go over to Bing right now. With that being said, I'm in negotiations with Google right now. By the way, Google's not easy to work with, and by the way, they don't like me. They don't give a crap about Matt Warner in Waverly, in Nebraska, Waverly, Nebraska. So we're on Bing right now. You might not even know, Joe. You're on Bing. We put you on Bing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get us back to Google, folks. I'm working my tail off. You have no idea how many hours and how much time behind the scenes we're putting into this thing, because we know that the Google map is better.
Sure.
But right now we have to do Bing, and we're kind of using. We're trying to play hardball with Google and saying, listen, we'll just go over here.
Yeah.
And they're frankly saying we don't really care. But I do think, though, that they're changing their attitude because they've done this to some bigger players. So there's a bigger group of us out there that are saying, listen, a lot of these satellites that you're using are owned by the United States government. So stop being so selfish with them. Our taxpayers pay for this satellite imaging, so it's ours to also use. Yes, we understand that you put it in a nice package and we get to use it, but there's a way deeper. But thank you, Joe, for coming back and giving me an opportunity to prove to you that we did what you wanted. I can't even remember what you wanted, but
I think I wanted to be able to be put on the website. I wanted to, instead of sending someone from our website to your website, I wanted them to stay on our website.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And you said, hey, we're going to figure that out. Like, we'll figure. Well, no.
Facebook. No, it was a Facebook.
It was the Pixel. It was the Facebook Pixel. And that's why I wanted them to stay on the website, was because of the Pixel. Yeah. Like, we're pixeling our customers so we can tell Facebook, hey, here's our ideal customer. Please go find more people like this.
Yes.
And that's how the others had accomplished that, was they just built another page on your website that the Pixel could live on, and that was their way of doing it.
Right.
Well, so I went, and one person's opinion, and this is my experience, but this isn't, I don't know, I'm not giving anyone guidance. I didn't like it, just for other reasons, just how it operated. So I called Rachel like 2 months later or 3 months later. I was like, hey, remember when you said that you were going to put it on pause? Like, how long is that pause like good for? And she's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, can we unpause it? She's like, yeah. No, go use your link. I'll use you. You know, you could hear tap, 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 tap. She's like, yeah, okay, go use it.
Yeah. And for the record,
really?
We put your name on the wall, and I said, I want this guy back. I want him to love us. I had no idea you were going to start a show. I had no idea who you were.
Yeah,
I had no idea. I knew nothing about Joe Everest whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I said, this guy, I want this guy back. And you know what? We have to do a better job. By the way, there is people that cancel our subscriptions, and I write their names on the wall, and we will have to understand why they don't like us. And we can't make everybody happy. And that is hard for me to swallow sometimes. But your name goes on a wall. It's important to us. We try to we love the fence industry. Now we're going to the pressure washing and roofing and another one. So anyhow,
but Rachel also had another good point. She also built us a custom catalog, because I was like, well, I don't want pictures of someone else's work. I want pictures of our work, and I don't like this one, that. I was picky, you know, but Rachel's like, okay, well, let me just do a custom catalog for you. Like, really? Like, well, how do I upload pictures? She goes, oh, you send them to me and I'll put them in there. Okay, I will. I'm sorry that I ever left. I promise never, ever to do it again, because the level of customer service,
right,
unprecedented. Yeah. It was like, I will, And this is what this all goes into my belief that it's severely undervalued or underpriced for the value.
Thank you.
It's anyway, this is
Steve Bennett tells me the same thing.
I'm not a paid spokesman. I'm not like Matt's not like, slipping me 20 after the show. He's like, hey, listen, really good job on that. This is literally my experience, and I'll tell this to anybody privately, just like I'm telling you guys today. Well, I was a little intimidated by Joe. I think it was the voice. So my granddad always said I had a great face for radio.
Yeah. I love that line, by the way.
Yeah. I was like, well, wait a minute. You mean I have the voice for radio? He's like, I said what I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I stole that line from you, and I used it last Sunday on a radio show in Lincoln, Nebraska. I was invited to come on a racing show because we sponsor a local sprint car. And I literally said, I have a great face for radio. I stole it from you. Very good.
Well,
what else?
I stole it from my grandpa. So Corey has the point.
Yep.
This goes back to people buy from people.
Yep, they do. Amen.
100%. 100% accurate.
Thank you.
Yep. Roger also has a point. It's hard to keep Matt under an hour and a half without putting him in timeout. That's probably also true.
I will tell you this: when I do speaking events, though, I try to keep it 16 to 18 minutes, and I try to have 10 to 15 minutes for talking because I found out that that's about what my attention span is most of the time. But today I really think that we covered a lot, and you know what? I haven't been on your show for a long time, and I'm working hard in our company to stay in front of our company and trying to come up with new ideas. I'm trying to bring some fresh stuff to the industry. I don't mind the title a trailblazer because I really think that I've tried to, with the software and with some new and fresh ideas, and bringing netting to the industry, bringing padding to the industry, bringing these outside things to the industry. I'm trying to make fence industry not just as an industry of fence, but of safety and security and embracing that whole idea. I hope that's a little bit of my legacy that I leave.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it shows I think anybody that meets you understands that within under a minute. It doesn't even take 16 minutes. I think everyone gets that pretty spot on. I appreciate you being on the show, Matt. I really do. I know time on a Saturday morning is important, and I know you've got a ton of things to be doing. So the fact that you took a couple hours out of your day on a Saturday means a lot, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Joe.
Guys, appreciate you tuning in. I really do. Those of you that stuck around, thank you so much. You're the real ones. I appreciate it. And guys, we will be back next week for another Ask the Expert Q&A. What do we call this show? The Fence Expert. I appreciate you tuning in on Saturday morning. Regardless what we're calling this thing, I appreciate you guys for watching and tuning in. If you guys are listening on the podcast, thank you so much. I'm actually supposed to say this in the beginning. I appreciate you guys listening. If you'd like to participate in the live conversation, I host this show most every Saturday from 10 to 11-ish, noon now, Central, most every Saturday. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you listening. Matt, thank you so much.
Peace out.
Guys, I'll see you next week.